Keith Urban has officially lost it, and this time, it's not about the music, the marriage, or the tabloids. It's about his own daughter. Yes, Sunday Rose, the golden child who grew up under the glow of Hollywood perfection, just cracked the Urban family's shiny image wide open for years. Keith and Nicole Kidman sold us the dream, the loyal husband, the flawless wife, the picture-perfect family who prayed together, sang together, and never, ever argued in public. But now, that illusion is gone, and the meltdown that followed might be the most unfiltered, uncontrolled, and unexpected moment in Keith Urban's career, because according to people close to the situation, and I mean very close, Keith didn't just get upset, he snapped. The same man who once sang about love and forgiveness reportedly unleashed a private truth that no one was supposed to hear. A truth so deep, so dark, that even Nicole was blindsided. So the question everyone's asking now is, what pushed the world's most peaceful country singer to rage at his own daughter? And what secret did he finally reveal that fans have been whispering about for years? Buckle up, because this story is about to get loud. They say every perfect picture hides a crack, and for years, Keith Urban's life looked like the flawless frame hung on the wall of Hollywood royalty. The loyal husband, the doting father, the man who overcame addiction, found redemption, and built an empire of love songs and family values. But behind those pearly white smiles and Grammy night embraces, something was brewing. Something dark, something personal, and it was waiting for the right moment to explode. That moment came when Sunday Rose Urban, the once silent daughter, finally decided to speak. In an interview that no one, not even her parents, expected, Sunday shattered the illusion. She didn't name names. She didn't accuse. She simply described her childhood as controlled, measured, and emotionally curated. 3 little phrases that lit a match under one of Hollywood's most carefully constructed images. At first, people thought it was harmless, just a daughter being honest. But for Keith, it wasn't honesty. It was betrayal. Because if there's one thing Keith Urban has built his entire brand on, it's the story of redemption. The man who conquered demons, the husband who loved too deeply, the father who stayed faithful. But what happens when the redemption story starts to sound rehearsed? Sources close to the Urban family, who spoke exclusively under anonymity, claimed Keith was furious after seeing the interview air. He felt ambushed. One insider whispered he thought the family pact was to keep private matters private. But Sunday broke that code. And once she did, Keith didn't hold back. Apparently, there was a confrontation, not on stage, not on set, but behind closed doors in their Nashville mansion. Keith, usually calm and collected, reportedly raised his voice for the first time in years. He demanded answers. He wanted to know why Sunday felt the need to air dirty laundry that didn't even exist. But what Sunday said next? According to one family friend, completely broke him. She allegedly told her father, "You've spent your life writing songs about truth, but you never let me live mine, and that was it." The words hung in the air like smoke from a burned-out candle. Keith, the man who'd sung about second chances, the man who thanked his wife at every award show, suddenly went silent. And then came the outburst that no one saw coming. That's when. According to leaked text messages allegedly obtained by a Nashville entertainment journalist, Keith made a confession, one that stunned even his closest circle. He said, "The truth is, none of this was real to begin with. Now, fans are dissecting what that even means. None of what was real. His marriage? His family life? His redemption arc?" Social media erupted overnight. Is Keith Urban finally cracking under the pressure? One fan posted on X, another wrote, "Something's been off about that family for a while. You can feel it." Meanwhile, Nicole Kidman, ever the graceful actress, reportedly told friends she was deeply hurt but not surprised, because if anyone knew the cracks in the Urban empire, it was Nicole. The two have been Hollywood's golden couple since 2006, but even gold tarnishes under too much spotlight. Their red carpet chemistry always seemed effortless. But insiders say that behind that hand-holding and camera-ready smiles, The tension had been mounting for months. Sunday Rose's interview wasn't just a daughter's cry for individuality, it was the spark that ignited years of suppressed emotion, marital distance, and public image fatigue. The perfect family brand was built on discipline, reputation, and control, but what happens when the next generation refuses to play along? An anonymous staff member from the Urban household reportedly told Music City Confidential, Keith and Nicole ran that home like a movie set. Every moment was curated, what they wore, what they said, even how they celebrated birthdays. Sunday started rebelling around 15, but the real fallout began when she turned 16 and wanted to leave home for art school. Keith said no. He wanted her to stay close, stay under his guidance. He called it love. She called it control, and that's the word that keeps echoing through every headline. Control. Keith built his life on controlling his addictions, controlling his career, controlling his narrative. But control comes at a price, and now it looks like his own daughter is the one making him pay it. It's not the first time Keith's temper has made news. Back in 2017, there were quiet whispers from tour insiders that Keith had stormed off set during a rehearsal, reportedly after a song reminded him of his father. That same year, he checked himself into a wellness retreat, claiming he needed time to recharge. At the time, the media applauded him for being open about mental health. But now, with this family drama unfolding, fans are starting to connect the dots. Was that wellness break really just a quiet cover-up for deeper issues brewing at home? And let's not forget, this isn't just any celebrity family. This is Keith and Nicole, two powerhouse names whose reputations have been their strongest currency. If their image cracks, it's not just emotional, it's financial. Every brand deal, every endorsement, every movie premiere thrives on that image of unity. But what happens when your daughter publicly questions it? As the story grew, reporters began circling, paparazzi outside their Nashville estate, tabloids running conflicting headlines. Keith Urban's daughter tells all versus Nicole Kidman in tears over family rift. The chaos was total, but amid the noise, one detail kept resurfacing. That secret Keith supposedly revealed during his heated confrontation with Sunday. Something that everyone suspected, but no one confirmed. According to one of Keith's former road managers, he said something like, "You think this life was chosen for you? You were born into a contract, a contract?" The internet lost its mind. Conspiracy pages lit up instantly, claiming the Urbans had signed a spiritual pact for fame, that their perfect marriage was a Hollywood arrangement, or that their family operated under some deep celebrity clause. Was it real? Probably not. But in the world of celebrity rumor mills, reality doesn't sell, speculation does not. By the end of that week, #UrbanFamily's secret was trending across social media. Fans were divided, some defending Keith as a father under pressure, others accusing him of emotional manipulation. One viral comment read, "Funny how the man who preaches honesty can't handle a little truth from his own child." Meanwhile, Nicole stayed silent. Her representatives declined all interviews, releasing only a one-line statement. The Kidman Urban family appreciates privacy during this personal matter. Translation? They were definitely panicking behind closed doors, behind the scenes. Sources claim Nicole was the one trying to mediate, reaching out to Sunday to calm her down while urging Keith to cool off before the press twisted the story further. But it was too late. The narrative had already escaped the house. What was meant to be a family conversation turned into a public spectacle. What was meant to be love turned into blame. And now, the world isn't just watching, it's waiting. Waiting to see if Keith Urban will publicly address the rumors, or if Sunday Rose will go one step further and reveal what her father's secret really meant. Because, make no mistake, this wasn't a "what I'm" outburst. It was the beginning of something much bigger. Something that would test their loyalty, their legacy, and their lies. And, as one close friend reportedly said, Keith's always been afraid of losing control. But this time, it's not his addiction he's fighting, it's his own blood. By the next morning, the Urban mansion in Nashville didn't just have a family problem, it had a public relations crisis. Reporters were stationed outside their gates, drones buzzing over the property. tabloids screaming headlines like Keith Urban's private rage caught on tape and Sunday Rose tells her truth. The story was everywhere. Talk shows, gossip podcasts, entertainment blogs, everyone wanted to know the same thing. What did Keith Urban mean when he said, "You were born into a contract"? At first, Keith tried to stay quiet. But silence in Hollywood is blood in the water. Within days, fake insiders, alleged friends, and anonymous sources started crawling out with claims of their own. One source told Starpulse Weekly, Keith has always been obsessed with control. He didn't even want Sunday to have her own social media until she turned 18. Everything she said, wore, and posted had to be pre-approved. When she started talking to producers about launching her own podcast, Keith flipped out. He thought she was trying to capitalize on the family name. Another insider claimed Nicole was caught in the middle. Nicole's the peacemaker, but she's tired. She's been trying to hold everything together while keeping the public image spotless. Keith's pride and Sunday's independence are tearing that family apart. Meanwhile, Sunday Rose herself wasn't helping calm the storm. Instead of retreating, she doubled down, liking fan posts that accused her father of being controlling and reposting cryptic quotes like "the truth sets you free." Even if it burns everything else down, fans noticed, and so did the media. Entertainment journalists began dissecting her every online move, turning each share, an emoji into a headline. But the real explosion came when an audio clip surfaced online, uploaded anonymously under the title. Keith Urban exposed "Listen before it's deleted." The 2-minute recording allegedly captured a heated argument between Keith and Sunday. The audio was grainy, but the voices sounded chillingly familiar. In the clip, a male voice, believed to be Keith, can be heard saying, "You think this is about control? You think you'd even have this life without what I gave up?" And a younger female voice responds, "I didn't ask you to give up your truth, Dad. I just wanted mine." The internet went insane. The clip racked up over 3 million views in 24 hours before being taken down. But once something's online, it never truly disappears. Fan pages, reaction channels, and gossip accounts had already mirrored it. Did Keith just admit he sacrificed something for fame? One YouTuber asked in a viral breakdown video, what truth was he hiding all these years? Suddenly, what began as a family disagreement turned into a full-blown conspiracy. One tabloid claimed Keith's secret was a hidden child from before his marriage. Another swore he'd signed a spiritual pact early in his career. A third suggested Sunday wasn't even raised by him full-time, that there was a mysterious caretaker who'd lived with them for years. The truth? No one knew. But the theories were just juicy enough to trend. And amid all this chaos, Keith Urban finally broke his silence. At a live concert in Austin, Texas, fans noticed a shift in his tone. Midway through the performance, before singing "Somebody Like You," he paused, smiled sadly, and said, "You can love your family with all your heart and still lose yourself trying to make them proud." The crowd cheered, thinking it was a motivational moment. But those who had been following the scandal caught the subtext. Was Keith admitting guilt? Or firing back at Sunday with subtle shade? Entertainment blogs ran with it. Keith Urban sends emotional message to daughter during concert. Nicole Kidman seen crying backstage after Keith's speech. Urban family war turns into song lyrics. Meanwhile, Nicole had her own way of responding, through silence and symbolism. She was photographed at an event without her wedding ring. Fans zoomed in, screenshots spread, and hashtags like #RINGLESS Nicole started trending. By this point, the Urban image had collapsed. The family that once stood as Hollywood's unbreakable trio was now the subject of every late-night joke and TikTok theory thread, but the most shocking twist was yet to come. A journalist from Music Insider Weekly released an alleged leaked email from a member of Keith's management team. The email read, "Contain the story before Sunday goes live. She has messages, screenshots, and recordings. If she uploads, we lose the narrative." That one line, "we lose the narrative," became a digital wildfire. Everyone wanted to know, what narrative? What truth was being protected so desperately? By now, public sympathy had shifted. At first, fans supported Keith, the father hurt by betrayal. But the more he stayed quiet, the guiltier he looked. His once loyal followers began questioning everything. I used to admire his honesty, one fan commented. Now, I just wonder what else he's hiding. Even industry peers started distancing themselves. Country singer Casey Dalton reportedly unfollowed Keith on Instagram, while another musician posted a cryptic story, "Fame is expensive. Some people pay with their soul," but nothing stung Keith more than the headlines that followed Sunday Rose's rumored podcast announcement. Sunday speaks, the daughter behind the silence, according to leaked press notes. Sunday planned to discuss the pressures of growing up in a celebrity household and finding identity beyond fame. Insiders claimed Keith tried to stop it. One source told Starmix TV, Keith called his lawyers. He told them to find a way to block it. He said the family's name was being used for clout, but legally. Sunday was of age, and the show was already in production. For Keith, it wasn't just rebellion anymore. It was betrayal, televised, monetized, and trending. Friends say he hasn't been the same since. He canceled to studio sessions, skipped a planned appearance on The Voice Australia, and hasn't been seen with Nicole in weeks. Nicole, on the other hand, has reportedly shifted her focus to damage control. PR specialists were brought in. Her team allegedly advised her to lean into motherhood and distance her public image from the unfolding drama behind the scenes. However, people close to the couple claim she's heartbroken. One friend reportedly said Nicole blames herself. She thinks she pushed too hard for perfection, and now her family is paying the price. Meanwhile, Sunday is thriving online. Her cryptic posts have turned into empowerment slogans, with young fans praising her for breaking generational silence. One viral post on TikTok reads, "First Britney freed herself. Now Sunday Rose is freeing herself from Hollywood control. The situation has now outgrown the urban family." It's become a full-blown movement, a symbol of what happens when celebrity children refuse to follow the script their parents wrote. As one entertainment analyst put it, "We're watching the collapse of an era. The perfect celebrity family brand doesn't work anymore. Viewers want authenticity, even if it's messy, even if it's uncomfortable, and if the rumors are true." Sunday Rose isn't done talking. Insiders hint that her first podcast episode, dropping next month, will contain voice memos, text screenshots, and personal diary entries that could expose what Keith's contract confession really meant. Keith's team is reportedly panicking. Nicole's team is negotiating. And Sunday? She's just getting started. As one producer allegedly said after hearing a preview of the episode, if that podcast goes live, it won't just end Keith's career, it'll rewrite his legacy. And just when everyone thought the situation couldn't spiral any further, it did. Because the urban family fallout wasn't staying behind closed doors anymore. Within days of Keith's outburst, one of Sunday Rose's friends, who apparently was on a private group chat with her, leaked screenshots that sent shockwaves across every gossip page and fan forum imaginable. The messages were heartbreaking and brutal. Sunday allegedly wrote, "My dad doesn't want me to tell my truth because it ruins his story. But his story was never real." That one sentence set social media on fire. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Keith wasn't the protective father, he was the manipulator. And Nicole? The silent enabler. Twitter, or what's now X, lit up with hashtags like #UrbanFamilySecrets, #FreeSundayRose, and my personal favorite, #Keith Lost the Rhythm. Fans started posting old interview clips, dissecting every smile, every nervous glance between Keith and Nicole, searching for signs that their fairy tale was scripted all along. Meanwhile, inside the urban mansion, things were reportedly unraveling. A close source, someone who worked on Nicole's PR team in 2021, told the Sydney Herald that the Kidman urban home turned into a war zone of whispers. The source said Nicole was furious, not because Sunday spoke up, but because Keith couldn't control himself. He broke the code. They've spent years building an image, and in 5 minutes of anger, he shattered it. According to that same insider, Nicole tried to do damage control the old-fashioned Hollywood way, silence, spin, and sympathy. Within hours, her publicist allegedly reached out to top-tier outlets to reframe the story as a family misunderstanding, but the internet wasn't buying it. A viral TikTok clip showed a body language expert analyzing Keith's recent red carpet behavior, claiming his fake calm and tight jaw suggested he was suppressing guilt. Millions of views, thousands of comments, and nearly all of them siding with Sunday. But then came the twist nobody saw coming, because a week later, Keith Urban himself uploaded a short, shaky Instagram video, just 45 seconds long, where he didn't sing, didn't smile, didn't even play guitar. He just stared into the camera and said, "You think you know the story, but you don't. Sometimes the truth hurts the people you love most," and just like that, he ended the video. No context, no follow dash up. The internet went feral. Everyone started guessing. What truth was he talking about? Was he confirming what Sunday said, or was he warning her? Some fans said it sounded like a confession. Others said it sounded like a threat. Entertainment blogs across Los Angeles started digging, and soon, the Daily Mail Australia claimed to have uncovered old court documents, sealed from 2010, involving a custody adjustment between Keith and Nicole when Sunday was just 2. Allegedly, it detailed emotional strain and household monitoring. Suddenly, that perfect marriage looked more like a silent agreement. One entertainment lawyer even speculated live on The View, saying, if those documents are real, then it means Sunday Rose may have been raised under an NDA basically. She couldn't publicly discuss her parents without breaching a confidentiality clause. Let that sink in, an NDA. With your own parents. Now, if that's true, it explains everything. The distance, the silence, and why Keith snapped the moment his daughter spoke publicly. Because maybe, just maybe, that truth Sunday mentioned wasn't just emotional, it was contractual. As the days went by, the narrative fractured even more. Half the media called it family trauma, half called it a publicity stunt gone wrong. But those who know Keith Urban's history, the battles with addiction, the rehab years, the fragile comeback, said this was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. And explode it did. Because just 2 weeks later, TMZ published a leaked voice recording allegedly captured during that same family argument, Keith shouting, Sunday crying, and Nicole's voice in the background saying, "Stop it, Keith, she's not the enemy," whether real or edited. It sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Keith's management immediately called it fabricated audio, but experts pointed out that the background acoustics matched his Tennessee home. Now, imagine being Sunday Rose, 16 years old, your private life dissected, your father's voice screaming across millions of screens. Fans began flooding her social media with messages of support. "We believe you, Sunday. Tell your story and break the silence, not your spirit." Meanwhile, Keith vanished. No shows, no public appearances, no interviews, just silence, the kind that's louder than any song he's ever written. And then Nicole made her move. In a glossy Vogue Australia feature, carefully timed, immaculately worded, she said, "Families go through private pain. We love our children endlessly, and sometimes love looks like distance, but the internet immediately decoded it as, I'm protecting my brand." Hollywood insiders started whispering that Nicole was considering a separate residence, not a divorce, just a cooling-off period. One source said she doesn't want to be dragged into Keith's storm, especially now that studios are watching how this plays out, and that's when fans realized this wasn't just a family feud. This was the collapse of an empire built on image. Every charity gala, every red carpet, every couple goals, photo shoot, all of it suddenly looked rehearsed. The Urbans weren't just losing fans. They were losing control over their narrative because once you open the door to truth, you can't close it again. And Sunday Rose? She's no longer that quiet little girl in the matching dresses. She's grown, with a voice, a story, and a generation behind her. She recently posted a quote on her private Instagram, one that fans screenshotted before it disappeared. "Silence protects power, not truth." That one line turned her into a symbol, not a rebellion. but of revelation. And if you think this ends here, you're wrong. Because now, entertainment insiders are saying Sunday has been approached by multiple streaming platforms for a tell-all documentary. One producer from Netflix allegedly said, if she talks, it could redefine what Hollywood family really means. So now, all eyes are on Keith. Will he apologize? Will he fight back? Or will he finally reveal what that truth really was? The one he hinted at in that cryptic video? Because if that secret is what people think it is, if it's the rumor that's been circling Nashville for years, then the urban brand may not survive another sunrise. And the cruel irony, Keith once said in an old interview, "I don't hide from my past, I just sing louder than it." Well, this time, the music stopped. And everyone's waiting to hear what comes next. So now we're left with the million-dollar question, will Keith Urban finally face the truth? Or will he let the silence bury what's left of his legacy? Because, make no mistake, this isn't just a family argument anymore. It's a full-blown reckoning between image and identity, between the songs we dance to and the secrets that built them. If Sunday Rose does speak out, if she finally tells the world what she meant by his story was never real, then Hollywood's most polished couple could be standing on the edge of their own undoing. And if Keith's mysterious truth ever comes to light, it might not just end a career. It could rewrite how we see celebrity families altogether. But what do you think? Is Keith a father pushed too far? Or a man hiding behind the music he made? Is Sunday Rose brave for breaking free or reckless for going against the machine that raised her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear every theory. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is far from over. And when the next revelation hits, we'll be right here to break it down first, only on Lumi Legacy.